Hello everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to attach items to your character in Unreal Engine 5. In this case, when my character overlaps this hat item, it will be attached to my character's head. And if I press a button, it will be dropped somewhere close to my character and I can't equip it again. And as you can see, this is final result of this tutorial. Alright, for this tutorial I'm using this cowboy hat asset, which is available for free on Sketchfab, and it's modeled by Harish username, and you can easily download it and use it in this project. Alright, now I'm going to create a blueprint for my hat. Now I right click in content browser, from blueprint class I choose actor and name it hat underscore BP. Alright, now in viewport section I hit this add button and add a static mesh. Now I name it hat mesh. Alright, now I select my hat model and add it to this actor. I set a scale to 0.5 and also set collision preset to no collision. Now I hit add button again and now I add a box collision. I scale it up and now I add an event on component begin overlap. Alright, now I open my third person character blueprint and I create a variable in type of boolean and name it have hat with a question mark, and I also create another variable and name it equipped hat, and for variable type I choose actor object reference. Now I compile and I go back to my hat blueprint. Now I cast to my third person character. I connect object to other actor and here I get my have hat variable, have hat boolean variable. Now I add a branch node. I connect this here and from false section I add a attach component to component node, and I choose for object target I choose hat mesh. Alright, now I connect hat mesh to the target. It is connected, it's okay. And for parent here I get mesh and connect it to the parent. Alright, now I open my character skeletal mesh from here, which is in this case it is this SKM queen, and here I have lots of bones. I have all of the bones and also sockets. I search for head socket. I search head, and from head socket I remove this. Alright, now I right click on head socket, and from add preview asset I add my hat model, and I place it. I think the location is okay, and I rotate it here a little. I think it's fine. Alright, I also right click on my head socket and select rename and copy the exact name of this head socket. Now I go back to my hat blueprint and paste the name of my socket here. And for location rule I choose a snap to target, and also for rotation and scale rule I choose a snap to target. Alright, now I should set my have hat variable to true. I drag it here and search for set have hat. I set it to true, and I also get my equipped hat variable and choose set equipped hat, and here I drag a node and search for self, get a reference to self. Alright, now I go back to viewport and I just add a rotating movement. It is optional. If you want, you can add a rotating movement. And now I compile and drag my hat blueprint. I place it in the scene, place my hat in the scene, and as you can see, when my character overlaps the hat, it will be placed on my character's head. But now I want to create a mechanism for my character to drop the item. Alright, now I open my third person character blueprint and I search for an input key, or you can create a specific input key if you want. For example, I go to project settings and from input section action mapping I create action mapping and name it drop hat, and for key binding I choose, for example, E button. Alright, now I right click and I add my drop hat input here. Now I add a branch node and connect have hat to the condition, and from true section I add a destroy actor node and connect equipped hat to the target. And after that I drag a node and I search for a spawn actor from class. For this class section I choose my hat BP, and for transform here in viewport section I have created an arrow. I remove it and create it again. I hit add button and search for arrow and place it somewhere close to my character, for example here. I think it's fine. Alright, I drag my arrow and now I drag a node and search for get word transform and connect the return value to the spawn transform. Alright, now I compile. Another thing I should do is to, after this, I set my have had variable to false. Alright. Okay, now I compile and run the game. And as you can see, when my character overlaps the hat, it will be equipped to my character. And if I press E, I think this box collision is huge. I scale it down to avoid this bug. Over here, I decrease the scale of this box collision and also mesh. All right. Now I equip the hat, and if I press E, it will be dropped by my character. Alright, if this tutorial was useful for you, please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.